University Challenge. Asking the questions and more launching.
Hello and welcome to University Challenge, where we're about to play the first of this year's semi-finals. There are only 4 teams now left in the competition, and the 2 competing tonight are both looking to take one step closer to becoming the first ever from their respective institutions to lift the University Challenge trophy. The last time a team from Christ College, Cambridge reached this stage of our competition was in 2002, and the only time a Christ team has gone further than this was back in 1970. This year's team are here having beaten Exeter College, Oxford, St Edmund Hall, Oxford, Imperial College, London and fellow semi-finalists Warwick without putting a foot wrong. They've demonstrated they know their degree subjects inside out and a lot about social science and classical music besides, and their average score per game is just over 200. Let's meet the team from Christ once again.
Hi, I'm Anneke Furman. I'm from The Hague in the Netherlands and I study classics.
Hi, I'm Brendan Bethlehem. I'm from North London and I'm studying linguistics.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Oscar Despard. I'm from Dublin in Ireland and I study biochemistry.
Hi, I'm Linus Liu. I'm from Orpington and I'm studying maths.
Only one other team from Bristol has ever reached the semi-finals of this competition. They went on to finish runners-up in 2023, and this year's team will no doubt be hoping they can go one better. They've managed some very convincing wins on their way to this point against Gonville and Caius College, Cambridge, Exeter, the Open University and Queen's University, Belfast, but they have lost once to Darwin College, Cambridge, on a tie-break. They've been consistently excellent on chemistry, life science, art and history, and their average score is 220. Let's meet the team from Bristol for the 6th time.
Hey, I'm Ted Warner, I'm from Wiltshire and I'm studying biology.
Hi, I'm Bridie Rogers, I'm from Brighton and I study medicine.
And their captain.
Hi, I'm Kevin Flanagan. I'm from Dublin and I'm doing a PhD in AI.
Hi, I'm Olivia Watts. I'm from York and I'm doing a PhD in organic chemistry.
Nice to see you applauding each other, guys. All right, a place in the final up for grabs. You feeling ready? Good. Here we go. Fingers on buzzers. Here's your first semi-final starter for 10. What first name links all of these? The US mathematician and aerospace engineer who became NASA's first black female engineer in 1958. A Scottish scientist and writer currently featured on the polymer £10 note of the Royal Bank of Scotland. And the Jamaica-born business...
Christ Bethlehem.
Catherine.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Jamaica-born businesswoman and nurse who was author of the first autobiography by an African Carib...
Bristol Rogers.
Mary?
It is Mary, yes, as in Jackson, Somerville and Seacole. Your bonuses then, Bristol. 3 questions on a book and its influence. Described by Samuel Johnson as the only book that ever took me out of bed 2 hours sooner than I wished to rise, and by Anthony Burgess as one of the great comic works of the world. An encyclopedic work of 1621 by Robert Burton has the title The Anatomy of what?
Ooh, I know this.
I think I've read this before, but I can't
What
think
sort
of
of thing
what
would
it
it be?
Government, I don't know.
is. Anatomy
It would be
of,
that, surely.
I don't know.
The state.
Man.
The state.
Yeah.
Yeah, the state.
No, it's Melancholy. Anatomy of Melancholy was a working title for Say Goodbye, Catullus, to the Shores of Asia Minor, a monumental work by which US artist born in 1928. Its panels include inscriptions of 2 variations of the title of Burton's work.
Oh, so US artists from around then.
So like late 20th century. Who would do stuff about like ancient Rome and like Mediterranean.
It's not Jasper. It's too early for Jasper Johns, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we should move on.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not.
I think.
Yeah, Homer.
No, it's Twomley. Which romantic poet used Burton's anatomy as the main source for his narrative poem Lamia? He approached the subject of melancholy himself in an ode of 1819.
Lamia's in Greece, so it could
Okay,
be
that
Byron.
makes sense. That's he was like that. So yeah, Byron.
No, it's John Keats. Let's start the question. I need to hear an answer of at least 3 words here. Invasions of marauders known as the Sea Peoples, a so-called mega drought, a series...
Christ Bethlehem.
The Bronze Age collapse.
Well done, yes. Your bonuses, Christ, are on the names of Sichuan dishes. Meaning palace guardian and believed to refer originally to a specific Qing dynasty official, what term denotes a dish of cubed chicken stir-fried with peanuts, dried chilies and Sichuan peppercorns in a light sweet and sour sauce?
I think it's Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah, I think it's Kung Pao, yeah.
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
Yeah.
Kung Pao.
Yes, meaning a type of carrying pole used by street food vendors. What reduplicative name is given to a dish of noodles dressed with chili oil, minced meat, preserved mustard greens, and often either ground peanuts or sesame paste, together with other aromatics?
Is this Biang Biang?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Biang Biang?
Biang Biang.
Yeah.
Any ideas? That sounds right. Biang Biang.
No, it's Dan Dan noodles. Usually understood to mean pockmarked old woman, what short word precedes tofu in the name of a dish of cubed silken tofu simmered in a spicy bright red sauce flavoured with fermented broad bean paste and Sichuan pepper?
Mapo.
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 Yeah.
Mapo.
Yes, correct. Let's start the question. In linguistics, what two-word term is used to describe the case alignment system in which the subject of an intransitive verb and the object of a transitive verb are marked identical?
Christ's Bethlehem.
Ergative absolutive alignment.
It is indeed, yes, well done. Your bonuses are on medieval Welsh historians. Name the person from the description. A single-word answer is enough in each case. The author traditionally credited with composing or compiling the history of the Britons in the years around 800. This work gives some of the earliest accounts of the life of King Arthur.
Oh, what is this? This is not Geoffrey of Monmouth. 800s.
Yeah, it is.
I say Cadwallader, but I don't know.
Any like Cadwallader's the best thing we have.
I have no clue.
Cadwallader.
Yeah.
Cadwallader.
It's Nennius, a Welsh monk who became Bishop of Sherborne in about 895. He was a biographer of Alfred the Great.
Oh, Asa.
Asa.
Yeah.
Asa.
Yes, a churchman born in Pembrokeshire in about 1145 and known as Cambrensis, or of Wales. His works include The Journey Through Wales and The Description of Wales.
Oh, this is Gerald of Wales. I think.
Gerald?
Yeah.
Gerald.
Yes, well done. Picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a graphical representation of the function of a specific type of cell in an organ of the human body. You need to name that type of cell for the points.
Christ's Bethlehem.
Cones.
Yes, cone cell. For your picture starter, you saw a graph showing the absorption curves of short, medium and long cone cells to different wavelengths of light in the typical human eye. Following on from this, your picture bonuses will be diagrams of the back of the eye with structures highlighted. 5 points for each you can name. First for 5 points.
That looks like
It's
the sclera.
Yeah, it would be the sclera.
I don't know the
what it
English
is.
terms.
The sclera.
Yes. Secondly,
Oh, is that the optic nerve?
No, it's not.
No,
The
it's
optic nerve is the
not.
back
Yeah,
thing.
back.
It's the pathway through the vitreous humor. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what they might be looking for here. The focal plane.
Try that.
I know the axis, presumably.
Axis. Okay, fine.
Axis.
no, it's the hyaloid canal. And finally, the small depression that the arrow is pointing to here.
Fovea.
Presumably. I think
Yeah, it's
that
the
is the
fovea.
fovea. Yeah. The fovea.
Yes. Let's start the question. In a paper of 1935, what term did Erwin Schrödinger coin for what he defined as the characteristic trait of quantum mechanics, the one that enforces its entire departure from classical lines of thought, later described dismissively by Einstein as spooky action?
Bristol Flanagan.
Quantum entanglement.
Well done. Bonuses for you, Bristol. 3 questions on Argentinian Nobel laureates in the sciences. Born in Buenos Aires in 1887, Bernardo Ucet won the 1947 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering the role of the anterior lobe of which gland of the human endocrine system in carbohydrate metabolism and blood sugar.
Pituitary.
Yes. Which physician and biochemist was awarded the 1970 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for, quote, his discovery of sugar nucleotides and their role in the biosynthesis of carbohydrates?
I was naming an Argentinian scientist.
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing.
Very names and.
Do we have any?
No,
any
I've got nothing.
Okay, pass.
That was Luis Frederico Leloir. Finally, César Milstein shared the 1984 prize in Physiology or Medicine for his work developing the hybridoma method for the large-scale production of identical or monoclonal instances of what class of protein?
Antibodies.
It is indeed, yes. Let's start the question. What 5-letter word appears in the titles of all the following literary works? A 1965 play by Ama Ata Aidu, the first book by Philip Roth to feature the recurring character Nathan Zuckerman, the final novel in Pat Barker's Regeneration trilogy, and
Christ Despard.
Ghost.
yes, well done. Your bonuses are on the major Hindu festival known as the Kumbh Mela, or Festival of the Water Pot. The Kumbh Mela takes place 4 times in a 12-year cycle. Its occurrence is determined by astrological positions of the sun, moon, and which planet that orbits the sun once in about 12 years?
Oh, that's going to be Jupiter, right?
I don't know. Do we have any ideas?
I think it's Jupiter.
Definitely visible, yes. So Jupiter?
Yes. One side of the Kumbh Mela is Nashik, a city lying on which river? The second longest in India, it rises about 80 miles from the Arabian Sea, but empties into the Bay of Bengal.
Could this be the Indus?
No, that doesn't empty into the Bay of Bengal.
It's not the Ganges, is it?
No, it could be the Brahmaputra.
Okay.
If it's the Ganges, I'm sorry, but I think it's the Brahmaputra.
Brahmaputra?
Yeah.
Brahmaputra?
No, it's the Godavari. The greatest Kumbh Mela festival takes place every 12 years at the city of Prayagraj, formerly Allahabad, at the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna. In which state?
Okay, so countries are in the Yamuna.
Could this
West
be-
Bengal or Bihar. Try Bihar. I don't think it's going to be West Bengal.
Okay, so we'll go Bihar?
Yeah.
Bihar?
No, it's Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
Let's start the question. Born in New Zealand in 1914, which economist wrote the 1958 paper, The Relation Between Unemployment and the Rate of Change of Money Wage Rates in the United Kingdom, 1861 to 1957, and gives his name to a curve?
Price Despard.
Phillips.
It is Bill Phillips, yes. 3 questions for you, Price, on sociological approaches to love. Writing in 1951, which Russian-American sociologist coined the term amitology for a proposed applied science of amity and unselfish love? His books on the topic include The Reconstruction of Humanity and The Ways and Power of Love.
No idea.
Do you have a good name that I can guess?
Goffman,
maybe? Goffman is
Okay, so
Goffman.
No, it's Sorokin. In Love and Justice as Competences, Luke Boltanski discusses the social value of love that is present-focused, desireless, and unconcerned with consequence or reciprocity. What Greek term does he use to denote such love? In the New Testament, it is the word used for God's love for humanity.
it's just agape.
I think it's agape.
It's not storge.
Yeah, and it's not philia.
Yeah, okay, agape.
Agape. Agape?
Yes. In The Transformation of Intimacy, which British sociologist developed the concept of confluent love, defined as active contingent love that presumes equality in emotional give and take? His other works include Beyond Left and Right and The Third Way.
Who's the
I
third
should
way? I've
know
heard of
this.
it. I don't know.
Wait, who's the... Oh, the philosopher. I can't remember,
No,
sorry.
I don't think we know this. Moore.
No, it's Anthony Giddens, New Labour guru. Now let's start the question. Its name deriving ultimately from a Greek word meaning hollow of a vessel. What percussion instrument found a regular place in the orchestra by the time of Beethoven, having earlier featured in opera scores by Gluck and Mozart? Modern types of this instrument include sizzle, china, crash, and hi-hat.
Price Despard.
Symbol?
It is, yes. Your bonus is then, Price, on geographical regions of South America. Meaning plains in Spanish, what name is given to the large area of grassland in western Venezuela and northeastern Colombia? It is a major area for cattle raising.
It's the Pampas.
That is definitely a major area for cattle grazing. So, the Pampas?
No, it's Llanos, meaning hunting ground in Quechua. Which large, sparsely populated alluvial plain covers much of northern Argentina and parts of Paraguay and Bolivia? A single-word answer is enough for the points here.
Is this
Is it
the Pampas?
conceivable that this is the Pampas?
This is
And do we have
conceivably
any
the
better
Pampas.
guess
No,
if
I
it
don't have
isn't?
anything better.
The Pampas.
No, it's Gran Chaco. Extending from the Gran Chaco to Patagonia and meaning flat surface in Quechua, what is the name of the grassland that extends over much of Argentina?
Are we going to do this again?
Do we have anything better?
No, I don't have anything.
It would be a real pity if it was and we didn't go for it. So,
Yeah, that would be very fun.
Pampas?
Got there in the end. Music round now. And for your music starter, you're going to hear a piece of classical music. For 10 points, name the composer.
Bristol Warner.
Sibelius.
No. You can hear a bit more, Christ, but you may not confer. Come on, anyone?
Price Furman.
Tchaikovsky.
No, it's Wagner. We'll take your music bonuses in a moment. In a study conducted by Irish neuroscientist Eleanor Maguire in 2000, which part of the brain was found to be larger in...
Christ Despard.
Hippocampus.
It is the posterior hippocampus, indeed. Your music starter was an extract from the overture to Wagner's Tannhauser. Wagner was persuaded to add a ballet to the original 1845 score of Tannhauser for a production in Paris in 1861. Your music bonuses will be extracts from 3 more operas that later had a ballet added in order to be performed in Paris. And in each case, I need the name of the composer. Firstly, this opera had a ballet added in 1869.
Okay. 1869 would be the right.
This could be Verdi.
Could be Bizet either.
What language is this?
Yeah, what language is it?
Italian.
Yeah. So
Okay.
It's not Bizet then.
It's not
let's go
well, it
Verdi
could be.
then.
Well, it couldn't be Bizet to be performed.
Come on.
in Paris.
Okay, let's go with Verdi.
No, it's Charles Gounod. Secondly, this opera was significantly expanded for performance in Paris in 1827.
I've listened to this before. Who's writing opera at this point?
Rossini.
Rossini.
It's still- it could be.
It sounds vague.
Rossini or
Rossini
Donizetti, but it
composer,
sounds
right?
like Rossini, yeah.
Yeah, Rossini.
Yes, and finally, this opera was revised in 1847 to become a Parisian grand opera.
If it's revised in 1847, that doesn't tell us really anything about when it was written.
Is this not just Puccini?
It could be.
Could be.
No, wait. Isn't
on.
Puccini
I've
much
heard
later?
this before.
I don't know.
we can
Let's
go with
go with that.
Puccini.
Puccini.
No, it's Verdi. Let's start the question. The Hohokam culture flourished from about 200 to 1450 CE in which present-day US state? These farmers constructed widespread and complex canal networks in an arid region along the valleys of the Salt and Gila rivers, the latter being a tributary of the Colorado.
Bristol Warner.
New Mexico?
No, anyone from Christ, you may not confer.
Christ Bethlehem.
Arizona?
It is Arizona, yes. Your bonuses, Christ, 3 questions on a mathematical operation. In mathematics, Newton-Cotes formulas are a family of techniques for performing what operation? Simpson's rule and the trapezium rule are specific examples.
This is just integration, right?
A numerical integration specifically.
Let's say
But I think the process, the operation is
we'll say integration, I think.
integration.
Yes, and it is numerical integration.
Yeah.
Which German mathematician born in 1826 gives his name to a definite integral that may be defined as the limit of the sum of the areas of rectangular partitions of the area under a curve between 2 intervals as the width of those partitions approaches 0?
This is the Riemann.
Riemann.
Yeah, Riemann.
Yes. Which French mathematician born in 1875 published a revolutionary generalization of the Riemann integral in 1901 that allowed for the integration of a much wider range of discontinuous and irregular functions?
Lebec.
Yes. Let's start the question. Which film of 1963 begins with a dream sequence in which the main character starts off stuck in a traffic jam in a tunnel, out of which he then floats and flies up into the clouds before being pulled back to Earth by a string tied around his ankle? This character being Guido Anselmi, a film director experiencing a bad case of creative block.
Christ Despard.
8.5.
It is 8.5, yes. Your bonuses, Christ, are 3 questions on an architectural collective. Founded in 1961 by a group of British architects, including Peter Cook and Ron Heron, which avant-garde group produced a namesake magazine promoting futuristic and dynamic city designs based around megastructures, such as the plug-in city and the walking city?
What is this? Brutalism or something?
I don't know. I mean, there's
Collective.
I don't know any.
play universities. But I don't like that. I think that's something completely different.
Yeah. Will we just go brutalist and
Yeah.
hope for the best, or
It's not that, but we
Yeah, I
can
don't
try.
think it
We
is.
can try.
brutalist?
It's Archigram. Archigram's futuristic ideas were criticised in the book Learning from Las Vegas, written by Robert Venturi, Stephen Eisenhower, and which other architect who was overlooked for the 1991 Pritzker Prize won by Venturi?
Ooh, what's in this
Very
period?
difficult. I think
Is this too late for Le Corbusier?
I don't think so.
Or
I don't know.
Gropius? Gropius?
Gropius is dead.
1991.
Oh, that's quite late, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite late, but I don't know the answer.
I mean, it could be Le Corbusier or maybe... I don't know.
What was your other guess?
Le Corbusier?
Okay, Le Corbusier.
No, it's Denise Scott Brown. Archigram's influence is recognisable in the design of which modern art gallery in Paris, designed by Renzo Piano and Richard Rogers, and named for a French president.
The Pompidou.
Pompidou.
Yeah, Pompidou Centre.
It is, exactly, yeah. Start the question now. In stringed instrument performance, which two-word Italian term is used to instruct the performer to strike the strings with the wood of the bow?
Price Bethlehem.
Collegno.
Yes, it is. Your bonuses are on United States presidential elections. From the 18 states that chose electors by popular vote in the 1824 election, Andrew Jackson won a plurality. However, the election would be decided by the House of Representatives in which politician's favour?
John Quincy Adams.
yeah.
John Quincy Adams.
Yeah. In 1876, Samuel J. Tilden took an overall majority of the popular vote, but still failed to win in the college, meaning the presidency was won by whom?
This is
What year was he from? It could be Rutherford B. Hayes.
what?
No,
Yeah, but it was the other one. There are two quite close to each other.
Benjamin Harrison.
Yes. No, it's Rutherford B. Hayes, so it's Rutherford B. Hayes.
Yeah.
Rutherford B. Hayes.
It is. Before Hillary Clinton's defeat in the 2016 general election, who was the last candidate to win a plurality of the popular vote in a US general election, but still failed to win the Electoral College?
It's just Al Gore.
It's Al
Yes,
Gore,
it is
yeah.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Poor guy, yeah. Picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a building. For 10 points, name the specific art movement with which it is associated. Your answer must include the name of a city. Anyone want to have a go?
Price Despard.
The Vienna Circle.
No. Anyone from Bristol?
Bristol Flanagan.
Florence School.
No. The Vienna Secession. The Vienna Circle is a bunch of great philosophers, as I think you know, Oscar.
I knew I was thinking of the philosophers. I just wanted to say something.
Bad luck. Let's start the question. Due to the presence of the Herschel crater, some 80 miles wide, Saturn's moon Mimas has come to be...
Bristol Flanagan.
The Death Star.
It is the Death Star, yes. For your picture started in Bristol, you saw the Vienna Secession building designed by Joseph Maria Olbrich. The movement began in 1897 and saw the beginning of modern art in Austria. Your picture bonuses will show works by 3 more people associated with the movement. 5 points for each you can name. First, the architect who designed this building.
Okay. Do we even have guesses?
This is a weak spot. Yeah, I
If we
know.
don't, we
Just
just
go
move
for
on
Van
and at
der
least
Rohe.
get some points.
Van der Rohe.
No, it's Joseph Hoffman. Secondly, the designer of this poster.
But
it's not.
what were you saying?
I think Muka's Czech, isn't he?
He could still
I
be
don't know. It
associated with
could
it, though.
still be Muka, though. I think it's worth going for it. Not really, no. Muka?
That's Moser. And finally, this artist.
Klimt, yeah. Klimt.
Yes. Start the question now. Issued by Abraham Lincoln in 1863 and constituting the first attempt to codify the laws of war and define responsibility for war crimes, the set of military laws entitled the General Orders Number 100, Instructions for the Government of the Armies of the United States in the Field, is more commonly known as the Code of which Prussian-American lawyer and political philosopher, its principal author? No, I'll tell you, it's Franz Lieber, the Lieber Code. Let's start the question. In Dante's Divine Comedy, which is the first of the 7 deadly sins dealt with in purgatory, with those guilty of it described as carrying large boulders on their backs, forcing them to bend over double?
Price Bethlehem.
Pride.
It is Pride, yes. Your bonuses, Christ, are on geographical names. In each case, identify the name from the description. All 3 end in the letters VA. That's Victor Alpha. First, located to the east of Chesapeake Bay, a peninsula on the Atlantic coast of the USA, whose name is formed from abbreviations of 3 states with territory on it.
Okay, so the 3 states are Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. So, Demava Peninsula or
Yeah.
Medeva Peninsula?
I think
One of the
Demava sounds more
Yeah.
plausible.
Which one?
Demava?
I mean, I have no idea. So, yeah, Demava?
I need you to spell that.
two. Demava.
Yeah.
No, I needed Delmarva, Delmarva. Bad luck. Secondly, a tributary of the Danube that rises in the Carnic Alps in Italy. It flows through the Austrian states of Tyrol and Carinthia and the cities of Maribor and Osijek.
So what was that?
I'm pretty sure this is it's either, oh god, it's the Sava or the Drava. They both exist.
Do you know?
No, the Sava goes through Belgrade, so try the Drava.
Drava.
Yes. Finally, a major city of the Czech Republic. It lies close to the border with Poland in an area known for coal and steel production.
Ostrava, I think.
Ostrava?
Yeah.
Okay. Ostrava?
Correct. Well done. No side question. Identified in the 1930s in 3 different forms by the Nobel laureate Richard Kuhn, which unsaturated hydrocarbon imparts yellow, orange or red colours to flowers, fruits and roots and is converted in the livers of many animals into...
Bristol what?
Beta carotene.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Into vitamin A. Anyone have a buzz?
Bronx Bethlehem.
Alpha carotene?
No, you've both been too specific, I'm afraid. I just needed carotene because the question specifically said identified in the 1930s in 3 different forms, which are alpha, beta and gamma. So I just needed the general term carotene. Fingers and buzzers, here's another starter question. St. Stephen and Roussanou are among monasteries in what UNESCO World Heritage Site in Thessaly in northern Greece?
Bronx Bethlehem.
Meteora.
Yes, it is indeed. Your bonuses, Christ, are 3 questions on the films of Park Chan-wook. Park's so-called Vengeance trilogy comprises 3 films: Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Lady Vengeance, and which 2003 film? It centres on a man who has been imprisoned for 15 years by an unknown captor. This captor then releases him and gives him 5 days to find out why this has happened to him.
This is Old Boy. I'm fairly certain.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Old Boy.
One of the greatest films ever made. Park's 2009 horror film Thirst is partly based on which novel of 1867 by Émile Zola, in which the title character and her lover Laurent murder her husband Camille, but are then haunted by the memory of his murder and grow to hate each other.
What is this?
I don't know a single thing Zola wrote other than Jacques, and it's not Jacques.
No, it's not Jacques. I don't know what this is either.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Le Rouge et le Noir.
It's Thérèse Racan. In 2022, Park won the Best Director Award at Cannes for which film? A neo-noir romantic thriller about a detective who is investigating the death of a man who fell from a mountaintop and begins feeling an attraction to the man's widow.
I don't know. I just don't know. Sorry.
Come on.
I can't remember. Decision to leave.
It is Decision to Leave. No start the question. Following incidents such as the murder of Kitty Genovese, which psycho...
Bristol Warner.
Bystander effect.
It is a bystander effect. Your bonuses, Bristol, are on non-Newtonian fluids. In each case, I need the adjective that best describes the following behaviour. All 3 answers end in the letters IC. What word is used to describe fluids that get runnier when a sustained force is applied? Examples include honey when stirred.
Any ideas?
No idea.
Pass.
Thixotropic. The opposite of thixotropic. What term describes... Another goal, Bristol up 50 on Christchurch Games. We have 220. Well, Bristol, I think everyone knows, and I think you know, that that was not a fair reflection of your amazing performance in this series, in which you've completely dazzled us with the breadth and depth of your knowledge. They were incredibly quick on the starters, which means you had to sit through them getting all the bonuses that you would have obviously got right. But you've been absolutely magnificent in this series, and to get to the semi-finals is an amazing achievement. How have you found it? Fun?
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm also just happy that there's still going to be an Irish captain in the final as well.
Dublin will be represented in the final. Well, it certainly will. But thank you for being such great sports. Christ, I mean, that was a wonderful performance. And I shouldn't really pick out individuals, but Brendan, that was an amazing run of starters you guys really did on such a range of subjects. You've made it into the final of University Challenge. Congratulations on a stellar performance. I hope you could join us next time for the second of this year's semi-finals. But until then, it is goodbye from Bristol.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye for now from Christ College, Cambridge.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.